Welcome everyone to the Female Bodybuilding channel. We're joined by JB, and today we're joined by JB. Pronounce the name.
DiTomasso.
Yay!
And she is a brand new women's physique pro, and she's going to announce her pro debut right now. Where is it going to be?
It's going to be in Tampa Pro. So we're aiming for Tampa Pro.
And we are 14 weeks out?
13.5 exactly. So yeah, it's
so we
coming.
are 13.5 weeks out from your pro debut. And how does that feel?
Well, I won my pro card in fitness, right? So
in what?
In fitness.
What? In fitness. Wow. Okay.
So I won in Vancouver 2019, and when I went, there was no other competitor. So after winning my pro card, I got many messages saying I didn't deserve my pro card and stuff like that. So I called my coach the same day, and I was like, let's do the pro show the day after. So I did do...
1 second. People were calling you to say, or texting you to say that you weren't deserving of your pro card.
Because there was no one competing against me. And it's not like if I paid people to not be there, like if it was to be done all over again, I would prefer competing against people than by myself. It kind of sucks, right?
How did that feel when people were saying that? Did you get upset? Did it let it get to you, or?
Well, let's say that the judge are allowed to not give you a pro card if they don't think you deserve it at the end of the day. So I was like, I still got my pro card, means they think my routine is good enough to get the pro card. No. It did get to me a little bit. So we decided, me and my coach, to jump on the pro show the day after, just to show that I could stand with them when it comes to routine wise. So It's actually my pro debut in women's physique, because I did my pro debut without knowing that I was going to do it. But it's actually my whole debut in the women's physique division, because I've never competed in women's physique.
How did your pro debut go, though, in fitness?
It went well. Routine-wise, the judges were really happy with it. But back then, in 2019, the physique wasn't judged when you're an amateur. So my physique was there, but I was watery from the day before and stuff like that. So I got, I don't know, I think we were 15, so I might have gotten 11 or 12.
Okay.
So
this was 2019, correct?
Yes, it was.
And now we're in 2022. What's been happening in those 3 years for you?
Pretty much, I ruptured my Achilles a month after Vancouver Pro. So out of training and everything for 16 weeks. Then as I was doing my rehab, COVID hit. So rehab was put on the side because I couldn't even attend physio or stuff like that. So it's been just realizing that we needed the division change, because I wasn't seeing myself go back on stage with my Achilles. I don't trust it anymore. So it was more figuring out which division, what do we want to do. And well, we picked women's physique. So
why did you pick women's physique?
So in fitness, you get the whole stage to yourself for a whole 2 minutes, right? It's yours. You're there. You're telling a story. You get the attention of the public. So women's physique was just the easiest, not easiest, but it was a choice that made sense, because I couldn't see myself just get 30-second walking in my heels and just say hi to the public. I still want to tell a story through my routine. I still want to perform. I still want to bring something to the stage. So it was like an easy pick for me. I was like, I'm not doing anything else other than women's physique.
So when you made the decision to transition to women's physique, obviously you had to gain a lot of size, correct?
Yes. Well, even as a fitness, I was still a little bit tiny. I was still with muscle, but yes, we've had to build my leg all over again from rupturing my Achilles, because after that, my leg was about the size of my arm. So spend time on rebuilding my legs, and then build a whole physique. There's still a lot of work to do, but I want to see where I stand at this point with everyone else. So
we've seen some for people at home. If you follow her Instagram, it's Kitana. What is it, Kitana?
I think my username on Instagram is Chloe.DiTomasso. DITOMASSO. But then my name says Kitana.
Yeah, there you go. For the people who follow your Instagram, and they will see it now, you have a lot of posing and to music and artistic posts. Talk to us. How did you fall in love with the posing and the artistic type of thing?
So I've always been in love with the posing side of bodybuilding. So when I started competing, I was looking up to Oksana for fitness, Ariel for fitness, but also Kai Green a lot, because I felt like he was still bringing a whole story to the stage. He's a storyteller. I don't call that being a bodybuilder when they pose. I call that being a storyteller, because you're bringing the audience into your own world and how you see the music or what you see. So when I decided to switch to women's physique, it was just a matter of time of like trying to freestyle. I've always loved dancing, never good at it. But I always loved it.
We've seen you. You're good at it. You're being modest now.
I mean, I wouldn't go and freestyle in a circle and be like, yeah, let's do it, you know? So when I started trying freestyling with posing, I was like, oh my God, this is for me. Like, I'm able to just get out of my head and just follow the music, discover like different beats and the music, which one I'm going to use. Is it the lyrics? Is it the beat in the back? Is it the bass and stuff like that? So when I started posing a year ago now, only a year ago, it just clicked, and it was just, it just confirmed my decision of going for women's physique. Yeah.
Who moves you today on stage?
For routine?
Top three.
Oh my God. Top three.
And doesn't matter what division. Who moves you?
So I gotta put my good friend out there. He's an amateur going after his pro card soon. Quentin Petterson.
Amongst the pros.
I can't do that because.
Yes, you can.
Man.
You and me, we diss people all the time on DMs when they got shit for teams.
But
I know.
There's some amateur there that are as good poser as the pros. They just don't get exposure as much.
I mean, forget about the amateurs now. Think about the pros. Who moves you?
Okay, then we gonna go. Do they still have to compete now?
Of course. You can't move by someone who's not competing.
Sheesh, you're making this hard. Okay, so for sure.
Okay, who's better? Okay. Who's better, Alicia Kiesling or Rachel?
Two different styles. Let's start by that.
Who's the best? Who moves you the most of all of them too?
I connect more with Rachel's posing because I can read her musicality better. I know exactly what she's trying to hit, which beat she's going for, and I can read the story that she's telling us. So personally, I connect more.
Terrence or Logan Franklin?
I would have to go with Terrence as well. More of a storyteller. Logan is an amazing competitor and has amazing poses on stage. And like, you could take so many frames of his routine compared to Rough is simply you're watching a story evolving in front of you, which I like a lot. I'm all about stories. Right?
Mona Porcier or Andrea Shaw?
Andrea Shaw. I like her.
Oh, Mona's not gonna like that.
Well,
and she lives in Canada. I'm remembering.
And she lives in Canada.
I know, and she. I do.
It doesn't matter. You don't have to.
She's
you don't have to
artistic.
say. It's your opinion. It doesn't matter. Talk to us.
Powerful, I would go Andrea, but if I go artistic, I would go Mona.
Because she had JB. Let the record show she said Andrea. So there's no if. Anyway, we saw you. Did you help? I think you helped. What's her name? Chelsea Dion. Did you?
Yes, I
So
did.
talk to us. What did you do to her? What's your role in her routine?
Oh, it was just a collaboration, right? She reached out to me and we just decided to help each other out. So she would throw ideas, I would throw idea in, and then we would try and create something together, because I don't believe I'm at the level where I can be called a posing coach at all. I enjoy my posing. I enjoy doing freestyle. I enjoy everything, but I do think I still have years of learning before being able to tell someone, you should turn around when you do your bicep and like go there and turn your wrist and stuff like that. So I like helping people when they create their routine and jump in and be like, oh, you should try this, or have you think of this. So it was more of a like collaboration where it's like she knew what she wanted to go for the styles. She knew what she wanted to look like on stage, and then it was just putting pieces together and being like, oh, we there. So it was really a collab between me and her. So it was really cool though. It was cool to see something that I helped created on stage. So
I remember there's an artist called Samson Dauda. Do you know who that is?
hell yes, everyone knows.
So he's known as one of the best posers in the world today, with Sergio Oliva amongst the men. And he told me, AJ, in the beginning, I don't want to be known as just a poser. I want to be known for my physique. I don't care about posing as much anymore. Do you want to be known for your physique or your posing? Because we can hear a lot about your posing, but not so much about your physique. And that can be a problem because they don't judge posing in the IFBB Pro League.
No, I know. They do not judge physique. They do not judge posing at all.
No, they don't.
I'm competitive. Do I want to win? I want to win. Do I want to be in first callouts? Yes, I do. Do I want to go all the way to the Olympia and win? Yes, one day I do. What would mean more to me, winning the Olympia or being known as one of the great poser, not just women, but overall bodybuilding, being known as a poser.
Over winning the Miss Olympia, beating Sarah Villegas in front of 20,000 people, and you take her out?
Because if we look at Kai Green, he's still known as a poser. He's still posing.
He wouldn't be known as a poser if he looked like Joe Schmo in the third call out.
For sure. I'm not saying I'm putting the effort into my prep and I'm doing everything I can to bring the best that I've ever looked, to go through this prep and have everything done so I don't have a what if I haven't done that, or what if I did this better. I don't want any what if or any doubt that I missed out on something during my prep. I want to win, but for me to be told you're an amazing poser and you're one of the greatest would mean the world to me, because it means that I'm able to touch the audience when I pose. Because at the end of the day, the audience, everyone has an opinion on all different physique, but when an audience is able to say her posing is amazing, and they can keep the attention on you for a whole 2 minutes of posing, that's like a dream come true. And that means so much to me to be able to like touch the audience. The judges, I want to impress them with my physique. Yes, but.
So we are 13 and a half weeks out from your pro debut.
Yes.
How much are you weighing right now?
Oh my God. The heaviest I've ever been. So we're 179 right now.
What? You're 179?
179 pounds right now.
How tall and how short are you, as we would say? How tall are you?
I think I'm really tall and I hate it, but I'm 5'6".
So you're 179. Does that mean you have a lot of muscle or a lot of body fat to lose?
We think that we have built over the years since we lean out last year to try and hit Tempa. But we still have probably a 25 pounds to lose until...
You have to lose 25 pounds now in 13 and a half weeks.
Yes.
So that means you're going to be stepping on stage around 1.
We think that it should be... Yeah, we think. But again, as a fitness competitor, I've never had to lean out, dry out condition. So it's going to be a first run of my body too.
So JB, this is the first time
Dieting.
we can't talk too much for you from Canada, but this is going to be the first time it's going to be shredded.
Indeed, because I've been lean, stage lean,
but not shredded.
In the amateur category, I still brought a physique that was still there and still veins out and stuff like that. But we never had to remove carbs or water completely because I was doing a routine twice that day and not.
So you're going to suffer this prep, correct?
I'm so excited. I keep on telling my coach, I'm not suffering yet. When is the suffering like starting? I'm not suffering yet. But I think I enjoy suffering. So I'm not really. My coach name is Mike Chiasson. He's someone from here, and I've known him for about 3 years, I think, since I started competing. 4, and we finally decided to try together. And what I like and what's hard with me is I have ADD, so sometimes my coach will tell me things that they think she knows, everyone knows what that means, and I'll be over here overthinking, being like, okay, but if they put that meal after that meal with this thing in between, does this mean that I need to do it like this or there, or, and then I overthink everything, which usually people would get their plan and be like, that's easy, we're doing this. I'm like, I don't know what is this, or how do I do it, and stuff like that. So he's really understanding, and he's always there to answer my question. I never feel like I'm disturbing him with my questions. So
a lot of competitors have HDH. What do you call it? Say that again.
ADHD.
Yeah. Is that a hinder to you, or does it make it easier?
Depends. When I work during the day, when I'm coding and creating website and application, I forget to eat, right? So I need to have my watch with alarms all day long tell me, hey, you need to eat. It's been 3 hours. Hey, you need to eat. I even have to have alarms to drink because I forget. You
forget to eat and you're 180?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know that. I know that.
So you're a nerd. She's a nerd as well. You're a nerd as well, then.
Yeah, she's a...
Yes. I'm a full-on nerd that does bodybuilding. Like, I like to say I'm a nerd during the day and I'm a bodybuilder at night. Like, I have 2 complete different personality when it comes to my coworker. Don't believe me. They're like, you do bodybuilding? What? You're a nerd. You're not supposed to. And then when I tell people that I'm a nerd, they're like, you don't look like a nerd. I'm like, what does a nerd look like? Isn't the glasses enough?
Yeah.
Do you still work? Do you still work as a programmer?
Oh yeah, I work for the government, full-time job, every day, Monday to Friday, overtime, on call, and everything.
Is it specialized in some particular program language, or is it just everything?
Well, we're a small team, so I'm usually the name that gets called on every project possible, and I'll always have like at least 20 projects at the same time on my plate. But we mostly do click once application using C#, and we're using as well Telerik and all that, and then we're doing websites. But since it's government website, it's pretty much standardized, and we have to follow specific rules and stuff like that. So there's not as much freedom. But yeah, it's I enjoy it. I like to say that I live in the matrix every day.
Yeah, that's me too. Yeah, from 9 to X. Yeah, and then
it's so cool.
Yeah,
it's like, oh no, oh damn, oh goddamn. So I need alarms. I need all the reminders possible when I'm working. It's bad, but it's good. So
yeah, I'm a site reliable engineer, so I know that. So
oh wow, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Feel like I'm in a movie with Revenge of the Nerds. What's going on? What's this nerd talk?
We got you.
What are you guys talking? No. But is it challenging having a full-time job and being a full-time bodybuilder?
I think for me, whenever, let's say on Saturday, Sunday, I just get to wake up, do my cardio, go training, come back home, boom, I'm done, right? I get really bored. Like, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm like, there's too many hours in the day. I don't know. Yes, I could stretch more or do more posing if I didn't have like a full-time job. But I think the full-time job keeps me on a nice schedule. I like it. Gives me a break from bodybuilding and not over stressing about my prep or over checking like my body and being like, it's not going fast enough or it's going too fast or I'm not looking good. So I think for me, I enjoy having that full-time job that takes my mind away from my passion and my sport for like a couple hours a day. And then I get excited to go back to it because I'm like, okay, now it's bodybuilding time. Yay. So it's fun.
And it also pays your bills also.
Yeah, I kind of need it. So, I mean, we need the money if I want to compete this year. So, yeah.
Well,
some quick questions before we go.
Let's do it.
Is there, after your debut, is there only one show this year, or have you planned another show?
If it was just me, I would do all of them.
That's not gonna work. No.
No. So we're probably doing Tampa and Texas since they're going to be really big show. I want to see where I'm standing when it comes to all the big names, the like amazing athletes that are going to be there. I want to see where I'm standing. So then after that, we can go back and see, okay, we need to improve this. We need to change this, da. Maybe some shows in November, depending how my body is happy with me or hates me. So we'll see. But yeah.
Are you visualizing yourself at this year's 2022 Olympia?
I dream of it.
I'm asking you, are you visualizing is your goal to compete at this Olympia 2022?
My goal is to win everything I do. Like I don't do it just for the fun of it. So if I'm doing it, it's because I want to win. So,
have you figured out what song you're going to post to your pro debut?
I do. I already did the mix. I already did everything.
Can you tell us the artist?
I don't even know the artist. I found it on YouTube.
What type of music is it?
It's more instrumental, like drama, like the world is coming type of music. So yeah, a song probably no one will know, and I'm okay with that. The instrumental is what got me, and then every time I chose it last year for my routine when I was supposed to compete, and then things didn't go my way. And I've been listening to it about once a day, and it still gives me goosebumps. So I'm excited.
It's the right
I need to create a routine. Yeah, because I had chosen the song. What was it called? Damn, like this amazing song, and I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Da. And then I was talking to one of my friends that was competing 2 weeks before me, and he sends me the routine. And I'm like, oh, that's my song. No, like that's the song I picked, and you picking it. And I was like, he's turning pro, so he's gonna be everywhere with this routine. I can't just like come out 2 weeks after and be like, ta-da, this is the same song, and we were starting the same way. And I was like, oh my god, I gotta change everything. So we picked a new song, and I was like, okay, this one is the song. So
it's good.
So before we go, obviously this is gonna be out after this, because are you on Sunday? Are you free, or are you busy on Sunday?
No, it's my day off.
Yeah, JB, you know that big date you plan to take. I'm just playing. So you won our free stream. So this So this means you're the Vancouver Pro, JB.
Yeah.
You know the Vancouver Pro.
Vancouver Island.
Yeah.
Van Island show.
You are gonna watch it, and then you're gonna come. You're gonna come on Sunday, and you're gonna help us with the women's physique wrap-up part. Is that okay?
Let's do it.
So you're gonna be because we're gonna have a wrap-up on Sunday. But when you guys see this, you already seen the wrap-up. So, but Chloe didn't know it until now. So for people at home, you will be watching Chloe now, but you also watched her on the wrap-up. So you're gonna see a lot of Chloe in 2022 on Female Bodybuilding channel, and hopefully at this year's Olympia and all the streams and all the pro debuts. Say something. Is this your first ever interview, Chloe?
It is.
And now your
Hold on.
screen is you disappeared.
I know someone is calling me. Send to voicemail. Am I
So
back?
this is your first ever interview, but it's not your first ever appearance on our show because you were on the wrap up before.
Yes. So yeah, my first, yeah.
Yeah.
My first interview.
And there you go. Say something before we go to the millions and millions of fans watching your pro debut interview.
I don't know what to say. Oh my God. I don't know. I hope y'all enjoy my routine, or I don't know. I'm too awkward for this. I don't know what to say now. Oh Lord. Hey.
No, JB, what is this nerd talk? You have to come on.
I'm socially awkward, so oh my God, I don't know what to say.
No, anyway, thank you for coming on. People will see you before, so they already know your personality, because when they see this interview, they already seen you on the wrap up.
Yay, exciting.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for your time, and this is going to be a great year, correct?
Hell yes, that's what we're planning, so only great things.
And we are out.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Yay, thank you.
Welcome everyone to the female bodybuilding channel. And today we're joined by JB, pronounce the name.
Marisol Essoh. Welcome.
Oh, that was good. And she is, by this video is out, she is either in the top 3 or she's won the Pittsburgh Pro.
We're going for it.
And thank you for coming on for one day out. That's good of you. Thank you very much for coming, because this is you're one day out from Pittsburgh Pro, correct?
Correct.
So before we go into your backstory, how do you feel right now, one day out?
Oh my gosh, I'm a little excited. The nerves haven't kicked in yet, but I still have my spirit. I'm not tired. So, yep, hanging in there strong.
For people at home, before we go to the backstory, at Pittsburgh Pro, you will have your at the Atlantic City coast last year, guys. We at Female Bodybuilding Channel, we were talking only about Ivy Rain and Natalia Coelho for that show. JB, you were asleep with your predictions, JB?
Yes.
Yes. And I don't want to say out of nowhere, but out of the blue, you came and you took out Ivy Rain, who was an Olympia top 5 competitor. And you were really close with Natalia Coelho. Take us back to that show a little bit for you, because that's the day you arrived.
Oh my gosh, my pro debut, which I almost quit because I was so nervous. But one thing I learned, I was like, disconnect from social media so you don't see who's on the list. And for some reason, I happen to have seen the list, and I say, oh my gosh, there are like 5 Olympians. And I'm like, okay, we're going for top 10, maybe first call out. And if all odds, I'm my favorite, I might come home with top 6. First pro debut, I was like, I won't be mad with top 6. But when I got on stage and they called that first call out and that confirmation round, and I was like head to head with Natalia, I was like, oh my gosh, I could not believe this. That's when like my confidence just kicked in over gear, and I was like, I am not moving from this spot.
And a little bit, because we've heard some people talk about politics in bodybuilding and things like this. So when you come out of that people haven't heard about before, and instantly they recognize your physique, straight into the first call out, in the right beside Natalia, it must feel great.
Oh my gosh, like number 2 in the world, I was surprised myself. I was like, I did this, we did this. I was like, coach, little me, we did this. Yeah, it was exciting.
So for people at home, Mimi, as you know then, guys, she's the real deal. You don't beat Ivy Rain, who's an Olympia top 6'5" competitor, if you're not the real deal. And you did this in your pro debut. Talk to us. How did you fall in love with bodybuilding?
I've always, been in sports. I played field hockey and soccer when I was growing up in school. And I was more into HIIT and Zumba. I never was into like real weightlifting.
Which country was this?
I was born in Cameroon. Then we moved to Kenya, where I started playing field hockey and soccer. Okay. And then we moved to Ghana for 4 years for high school. And I took a year off after high school. So in Ghana, I continued with soccer and field hockey. Was there any knowledge for you about bodybuilding when you lived in Kenya and Ghana? No. When I was in Africa, I had never heard, I knew nothing about bodybuilding at all. Is bodybuilding popular in those countries? Actually, for guys, I would say, yeah, it's acceptable. For women, it's frowned upon. It's like, why would you want to do that? Yeah. Then you played hockey, and then what? And after I graduated, I came here to college. Of course, I was supposed to go to med school, changes of plans, ended up in nursing school. So I've been working in the ICU for 16 years. Okay. And a colleague nurse friend of mine was a bodybuilder at the time. She's tried to have me compete for 10 years. I was like, no, never. That would not be me. I like my potatoes and my steaks, and I didn't eat vegetables. I was like, how old were you then? I was like, when I started working, I was 22. Eventually, I was just going to the gym, just, work out and eat. And one day, one fateful day, she took me to a particular gym. I walked in and I saw this guy. He happened to be a retired bodybuilder. And he saw me, he said, your physique, it's awesome. And he started talking to me, and my friend and him are like going together and like trying to connive and to get me to join. I'm like, Finally, he said, what if I train you for 12 weeks and I tell you you're going to win your first show? And I say, well, if you promise, if that's a guarantee, then I'll take you for it. So my first one second. At the time, how were you? Were you lean? Were you more muscular than normal people? Oh my gosh, I was like 115, soaking wet. Yeah, I was really tiny. Yeah. But also, I didn't have my waist was not as, believe it or not, my waist is smaller now than I was back then. But wow. I was just like a very slim, girl. And yeah, that's, when I met him, then we partnered up and we started training late 2017. And my peak season started in 2018. I did the Florida Grand Prix. I took master overall. Where? The Florida Grand Prix. So you moved to America by then? Yeah. Oh, I moved to America in 2019, I believe. For school or for work or for? I moved to America in 2001. Okay. Yeah. So I did college here. I finished nursing school here. Then I started working here. Yeah. Okay. So yes, and it wasn't until 2017, late 2017, that I met with my coach. And then, then bodybuilding became a thing. Who was your coach? Harold Cherry. He is of a Dexter Jackson generation. They used to compete together. What's his name? Harold Cherry. Okay. Do you remember, JB? Does that ring a bell? No, now? No.
I'm not into coaching.
Okay. So 2019, 19, you started competing? Yes, 2018, yes. How did it go?
It went pretty good. Bikini, I was told that, I was too shredded for bikini.
Yeah,
I had
thank
like a
God for
whole
that.
I guess when I lean out pretty fast, and then I get all the lines and all the shreds. So they're like, So I'm like, okay, maybe figure. So I stuck to figure for like 2 years. After that, I did the Diamond Classic. I won the overall for that. And I could only do the International Pro Qualifier because at the time I only had a green card.
Okay.
So 2019, I did the Arnold Classic Amateur. I won my master's class, and I fell short winning the master's overall. And in the open, I took fourth place.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. And then the next year, I did the North American, where
Okay.
I placed third in the masters and I believe fifth in the open. And then
Okay.
I was like, I have to wait like a whole year just to qualify for a pro card.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit in 2020. I was supposed to do a show, and then I'm like, you know what? Shows are getting canceled. I'm like, I'm not even sure if I'm gonna compete. I'm just gonna train to train. And of course, there was no foods in the store.
Well,
So
really?
yes, I'm still like training a lot. All I survived on was peas and shrimp. For some reason, people don't like peas and shrimp in America.
So there was no food in the store where you lived in America
like
during
the
COVID?
stores, like when COVID hit, like most of the stores, the shelves were pretty empty.
Wow.
Yes. It's like, I was like, wow.
Where in America do you live?
I live in Florida, in Fort Myers.
And there was no food in America in the stores?
I mean, it's like when there's supply, and then if you get there late, the shelves are empty.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And then working night shift as a nurse, by the time you get to the store, it's like everything is gone. You have like slim pickings, so you have to make do with what you find.
So you were a nurse, and then you worked at nights with no food?
Well, not really. Like surviving on like whatever we have. Like, it was maybe like chicken thighs, not the chicken breast, and like shrimp instead of fish. So stuff like that, not much of, a variety.
Okay. And then how did you get your pro card then?
So I prepped. I was like, okay, this year we're going back to the North American, and hopefully we're gonna make it. And something just told me, why don't you do just like a warm-up show? And my coach is like, yeah, it'd be better, just to get your feedback. It's been a whole year. And I went to I think it was the Harbor Classic by Mel Chansey about an hour from me. And when I got on stage, and Sandy Williamson was the head judge.
Yeah.
And then that's when she came backstage and she said, you have to switch to women physique. She's like, your physique on stage is phenomenal.
Okay.
And yes. So after that, I was like, if I had known maybe the physique moves, I would have maybe done physique in the same show, but I had like no clue what the physique division was about.
And did you once again, did you know at the time Sandy Williams is top 3 judge in America?
I knew she was the head IFBB Pro judge, so I was excited to actually get in front of her before going to Pittsburgh, so I can get my review and my feedback. And her and Tress Bennett from I think South Carolina, they both came backstage, and they just say, how they put it was like, like I could not. The way my body was, they didn't want me to like downsize to stay in figure. They wanted me to grow and expand, my bodybuilding career pretty much. So I said, sure, I'll be willing to switch to women physique.
Yeah.
And the junior nationals was like the next week after the show. I was like, that's a little too short notice. But the North American was 2 weeks away. So I was like, I could do that.
Yeah.
So I called my posing coach. I said, change of plans. We're going to the North American, but we're adding women physique.
Okay,
And then she's like, and my posing coach is Sydney Gillen.
Oh, see, okay, yeah.
Yes. So she gave me 3 full-on hours, 3 days, like each day an hour. So we practice. I was sweating, I was hurting. We learned like the, mandatories, my routine, and the final routine in 3 hours.
Wow.
Needless to say,
Do you get extra motivated as an athlete when you know you have the greatest figure champion of all time? Does it give you extra motivation to work even harder with your posing?
yes, because like when I learned about bodybuilding and then I saw her, I said that's who I aspire to be. Like when I get on stage, I want to be like her, graceful and move like that, make it look effortless. So, and then when she became my posing coach, I was like, if I had met her before, probably I would have been a pro earlier, but I believe everything is in God's timing. And our paths met and we went to, North American, and we won both classes, masters and open in physique.
So now you're a women's physique pro. At the time, were you watching like Andrea Shaw and Natalia Coelho, and were you more into women's bodybuilding and women's physique at the time, or?
When I started in bodybuilding, I was watching more of like the figure ladies because that was my category, like figure and then bikini, to add my swag and my stage presence and stuff like that. And, I cut like some women physique here and there. The only person that really stood out to me was, what's her name? Former Miss Olympia. What do I forget her name?
Linda?
Julia Malikarn or Miss Olympia or Physique Olympia?
Miss Physique. Oh, she was the former Miss Physique Olympia, the Jamaican girl.
Sure. JB, help us out now. Is it the girl who lost? No.
Yes. She lost to Sarah Villegas.
Yeah, JB, come on. The girl who lost.
Why do I blank out here? I know her name.
This is very disappointing by us three.
Veronica Hendon.
No, she's never no Physique Olympia. Her name is, come on.
Physique, come on.
Yes. Hey, Jim.
Hey, yes. You know me.
This is embarrassing.
Yes.
We will get to it. Yeah.
Yes. So I was like, that's a physique that I can see myself, in. And then I saw Natalia Coelho. She was another name that stuck out to me when I was watching the women physique division.
And 1 second. Shanique Grant, obviously.
Yeah, Shanique Grant. That's the girl. Yes. That's the girl who like made me fall in love with actually women muscularity. I was like, if I have myself, that's what I want to look like. And eventually I joined the women physique, but unfortunately I didn't get to share the stage with her because she retired.
I think she has to come back. Anything else would be foolishness, correct?
She has to, but
So, as a bikini girl, how much were you on stage at? How many pounds?
Oh my gosh, I probably was, when I hit my first show, I was between maybe like 98, 102 pounds. I was tiny.
On 98 pounds on stage.
Yes, I was very tiny.
And now you are?
Now, the last time I weighed, I was 149, which is my lowest since I joined women physique, which is even lower than what I was at my pro debut.
So let's get on to the thing now. We are 1 day out. When this interview is out next week, we'll know the results. You'll be doing your pro also, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So what is the difference you had as a second place to Natalia Coelho? You're going to meet her again in 1 day. What's the different package you will bring that might beat her this time?
We have added more mass, and I am leaner, and my shape it's much more streamlined.
So you're bigger, leaner, and more streamlined.
Yes, I'm going for that spot.
Did you get any feedback from the show, from the judges, what you could improve on to win that show?
The few pointers, because which I could see even from the pictures too, because I was still a little nervous in my posing, like bring out my hammies more. I mean, like when you're not on stage, you know how to do it, and then you get there, you freeze. So try to relax and bring those hammies out and work on that, abs and thigh shot, get the better stance. And pretty much, that was it.
So right now, do you feel in you that you're going to win?
When I signed up for it, I say I'm winning that show. I'm going back to Pittsburgh and I'm coming with a win. Yes.
If you beat Natalia Coelho, this means you can also win the Olympia, because she was not far from beating Sarah Viega. JB, who did you have, Natalia or Sarah, JB, at the Olympia?
I believe it was Sarah, I think.
I had Sarah too, but it was closer than we expected. So yeah. If you can beat Natalia Coelho here, this means you have a shot winning the Olympia then.
That's correct. That's what we're going for, right? We don't compete to just compete. When I compete, I'm competitive. I want the win, want that first place.
JB.
That's a call.
Can you imagine if you beat the darling of the pro league? You know how Natalia is. You know how she's working, and you know all the politics, and then you beat her.
Yeah, gonna be a smash.
Yeah, that would be.
I mean, it's going to be the rematch, so may the best woman win, but I am hungrier for that top spot than ever.
Wow. And then we have New York Pro as well the week after, or?
It depends. The plan was to go to Shreveport and do the Optimum Classic, but
is that the same weekend?
It's in 2 weeks. That's on the 20. Yeah, it's on the same weekend as the New York Pro.
Obviously, if you lose to Natalia now, if you win, JB, if she wins New York, if she wins Pittsburgh, then you should just call it, then you should just only do the Olympia. JB, do you agree?
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Because then you build such a name that you're literally Olympia main contender if you beat Natalia there. But if you lose, she's doing New York Pro again.
Yes.
So obviously you go for the Olympia qualification in that other show, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's smart.
That's smart, because if you lose, they're not going to give it to you no matter what. So then you do it there, and then you have the rematch at the Olympia, correct?
Exactly.
So you're in a great position now.
Yes. I mean, I'm ready. I've trained for this. I've put a hard 12 weeks into my training. No cheating. This is the first time that not even an ounce of peanut butter more did I take. So it's like the prep was on point. I took some time off work to stay off my feet. It's like my legs look better than they were at the Atlantic Pro.
So this show, JB, Pittsburgh, will the how do they say it? Are you the what is it? The wolf that's hunting is more hungry than the, I don't know what it is. But let's see who's the most hungry, you or Natalia then, huh?
That's it. We'll see on stage.
JB.
Yeah.
This is going to be good. I wish this interview was done last week, because then we would have it out the day before. But sadly, we can't do that. So people will see this the week after.
After the show.
After the show.
After the show?
After the win.
After the win?
That's right. After the win. Because we're taking that trophy to Fort Myers.
Before we go, we love your energy.
Thank you.
Careful.
It's very important that people realize that you are one of the top. You were an debut last year, and what you showed there, beating Ivy Rain and coming close to Natalia, has already shown that you are an Olympia level athlete. So we wanted more people to get to know you. We want to get to know you. And no matter what, we're going to see you. You're going to compete at this Olympia, correct?
Oh, yes, I will be at the 2022 Olympia. Mark my word.
The first ever lady born in Cameroon, correct?
Correct.
And can we see some shots before we go? How is the clothing? Can we see?
I have to take my shirt off then.
Oh, well, that's JB. Are we complaining about?
No, we're not complaining about that.
We are not complaining at all about taking the shirt off. JB.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's a nice
Now
suit.
we're talking.
Wow. That's a nice suit. Wow. I love it. Wow.
Oh, JB.
Woo. Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's the shape.
That's the shape. That's
Oh,
more
yeah.
muscle than Natalia, bro. JB, that's more muscle than Natalia, Scott.
And I see that.
And the shape.
Yeah.
Let's see from the back.
Wow.
There you go.
Whoa. Yes.
Wow. Fantastic.
Awesome. Awesomeness.
Very good. Guys, this
And
is
thumbs
going to
up.
be it. And Mimi, thank you
Yeah.
very much. Thank you very much for coming on. And after the win, we're going to get you back for the victory interview, okay?
We will have the victory interview.
Thank
Good
you
luck.
very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Merci.
Nice talking
Bye-bye.
to you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
And today we have the person who has the first women's physique pro card winner in 2022. We have the person that has the first pro show women's physique winner in 2022. And he has also another, should have been a pro card, but there was not enough athletes in 2022 in the UK with Joe Kelly. Shelby Starnes, thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. Good to be here.
What a great start to your coaching year, correct?
Yeah, I couldn't ask for a better start. Very happy with it. And we're just getting warmed up.
So quick to that, before we start, how did you get involved into bodybuilding? How did you fall in love with bodybuilding before we go into all what happened this year?
I started competing a long time ago. I started competing in 2005. I'm not a typical bodybuilder. I wasn't a jock growing up. I wasn't into athletics or anything like that. But when I was 19 or 20, I realized that my father was in better shape than I was, and that didn't really make sense. I was a young man, and my father in his 40s was in better shape than I was. So I said, hey, I should start exercising and learning about this. So I did that, and it just kind of snowballed. I got more into it, and then eventually started competing. And yeah, I mean, I turned pro, which was a shock to me. I never thought that I would reach that high of a level, but.
And this was much harder to turn pro in 2000 in those days.
It was 2000. I turned pro at a Masters National show. I mean, it wasn't as hard as it was prior to that. I didn't win the USAs or anything like that.
Oh, okay. Well.
But yeah. I ended up falling in love with bodybuilding. I competed for 13 13 consecutive years, 13 years in a row. I competed at least one show every year for 13 years. I think I did a total of 18 shows, but anyways.
Did you do your own supplementation and food diet plan, or?
No, I always worked with a coach. My very first coach was Justin Harris.
Yeah.
I worked with Justin for a few of my initial shows, and then I started working with Dave Palumbo, and I worked with Dave for a long time. I actually worked. Do you know who Dante Trudell is? Dog Crap.
Yes.
He was my very first coach before I ever competed.
Okay, really?
I worked with Dante back around 2000 or 2001. We never did any pre-contest stuff or anything together, but he was my first coach, Dante. And then when I started competing in 2005, I worked with Justin and then Dave Palumbo.
So you're risen to be probably the most well-known coach to be working with female athletes over time. JB, wouldn't you say, over the last years? There's many great new coaches. Nasir, we have Brandon is doing well, but Shelby's been for a longer time with the girls. Who taught you, or how did you start to practicing the supplementation and the diets? Like, when did you start to get this knowledge, and where did you learn it?
Justin Harris, when he was coaching me, he had a team of coaches that were under him.
Okay.
And he said, "Hey, Shelby, do you want to be on this team of coaches that I have?" And I was kind of hesitant at first. And he said he thought I would be good at it and that I should give it a try. So that was 2006, 2007. So I said, "Hey, I'll give it a shot." You know, I mean, in the beginning, it was people that weren't competing, mostly just, general lifestyle type clients. And I just, over the years with my own competition experience, that taught me a lot. And just, talking to other coaches and being involved in the sport. I mean, if this is the main thing you do for 20 years, if you have any semblance of half a brain, you're going to start picking some stuff up. So, I mean, I continue to learn. I continue to hopefully get better and get better results for my clients. But yeah, it's always a work in process.
Who was your first? Why are you? What can you say? You usually work with women, correct?
Well, when I started, I worked with. I still work with a lot of males now.
Okay.
I work with a lot of lifestyle clients now as well. I don't post about it. I mean, if you just go to my Instagram, all you think is, "Oh, Shelby only works with women," and that's all that I do. But I work with a lot of non-competitors as well. And I do work with quite a few males. I usually have, at least a few male competitors at any given time. I just enjoy working with females more. I've had more success with females. And so I choose to focus on that. Women's physique is probably my favorite division, but I also have a lot of figure competitors and women's bodybuilders. Okay. I like the more muscular divisions. I don't do bikini or wellness so much. I like the more muscular divisions.
Women's physique or women's bodybuilding? Which class do you prefer and why? You kind of said it, but
women's physique.
Why is that?
I only really started doing women's bodybuilding a few years ago when Hella Trevino and I worked together. She won Tampa, and then she won the Rising Phoenix. She really had a breakout year a few years ago. And then, because of that, a lot of female bodybuilders started reaching out to me. And so I worked with female bodybuilders, but I've been working with women's physique for quite a while longer than that. If you go back to the first women's physique Olympia, it was 2013, I believe, was the first women's physique Olympia. I had Jamie Pinder at that Olympia. I've had someone at the women's physique Olympia every year since they've had it. At least one competitor every year since 2013. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, now 22. So every year I've had someone in it. So I just have that's a lot of time and a lot of shows, and that's women's bodybuilding. I've only really started working with women's bodybuilders the last 3 years or so, and I've had people. Go ahead.
Is women's physique safer than women's bodybuilding supplementation, or is it the same?
It depends on the person. Some women's bodybuilders, usually women's bodybuilders, generally speaking, I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of women bodybuilders are more experienced and have been doing it for a longer time. And they're usually older than women's physique competitors. Women's physique, a lot of them are, young, up and coming. Women bodybuilders, the majority of them are older. And so a lot of them have more experience. They have more experience with supplements. They've already spent, a lot of them, when they come to me, they've spent years and years already using PEDs, experimenting and trying different things and whatnot. So, generally speaking, women's bodybuilders are going to use a little more aggressive approach. If I just took a random sampling of people that come to me as a women's bodybuilder versus come to me as a women's physique competitor, the women's bodybuilders always have a more extensive, more aggressive history of PED use.
Is it the only difference in coaching women's bodybuilders and physique athletes, or is there another difference in coaching?
Well, there's kind of a misconception that there's one way to coach women's physique, and there's one way to coach women's bodybuilding, and there's one way to coach figure or bikini or anything like that. Really, obviously, the size differential is the biggest difference between these categories. Women's bodybuilders are bigger than women's physique competitors. Women's physique competitors are bigger than figure. It's kind of a tiered system. But prep is so much more than just supplementation. Prep involves the diet and the cardio. Those are the two big ones, diet and cardio. But you're looking at training, all supplementation, whether it's over the counter or not. But really, more than saying there's one, like a bodybuilding approach to prep and a women's physique approach, it's really more down to the individual. Some individuals need a drastically different approach from another individual, and they might be in the same division. They might both be women's bodybuilders, or they might both be women's physique competitors, but their diet approach might be radically different just based on their metabolism and genetics and individual needs.
We've seen since you started, you've seen all the classes. Figure now is extremely different from back in the day. So is women's physique. Where is the evolution? Is it the training? Is it the supplementation? Is it the smarter training? They're so much bigger and harder now. Why is that?
Well, that's what's being rewarded. That's what the judges have decided to reward. And so that's what the competitors have to bring. And so that could be, that can be diet, that can be supplementation. And a lot of times it's just genetics. The people that have the better genetics to hold that type of muscle and shape and balance and conditioning, those people are going to rise to the top. Those are going to be your top placers, whether it's at, a pro show or the Olympia. And the people that aren't able to achieve that for whatever reason, you're not going to hear about them because they did not place, or they're not in the first call out. So, I mean, it's not necessarily a change in supplementation or diet or anything. I mean, they have to get leaner and they are more muscular. So, I mean, there is more aggressive dieting or longer dieting. Supplementation, yes and no. I mean, it can change. Again, that's very individual. I mean, some people use a lot less than others. There just really isn't a cookie cutter approach to any of this. So it's hard to say, but I mean, if you look at some of the top people at the Olympia in women's physique, for example, look at them in the off season and you will notice that they don't get fat. Like it's and that's not necessarily strategic. I mean, I'm sure to a certain level it is, but these are people that have to a certain extent, an inability to gain very much body fat. They are not prone to store adipose and cellulite on their glutes. I mean, Natalia Coelho is not someone that gets cellulite on her glutes. She probably has faint striations all the time. And yes, she works hard. Yes, she eats right and all that. But you could put some other individual on the same plan, does the same work that she does, but because of their genetics and their fat storage patterns and whatnot, they don't look anything like her. Mm-hmm. So the people with certain the genetic gifts plus the talent and effort and hard work over years, those are the ones that rise to the top.
Who is closest to Sara Viegas to you other than Natalia Coelho? Purely physique-wise.
I think it's really apples and oranges after those two. I think the conditioning between those two is very similar. But I mean, if you go by just the Olympia at this last year, third was Brooke Walker, and Brooke Walker is phenomenal. Amazing women's physique competitor, but her conditioning is not the same as first and second.
No.
And then when you go to fourth was Barbara
Malak, yeah.
She's real sharp and she's very muscular, but it's a very different physique from Sarah, Natalia, or Brooke. And then you have Anna from Mexico in fifth. Ana Harias, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name.
Yeah,
and
Anna Harris, I think. Anna, yeah.
Yeah. She has a very different physique too. And then sixth place was Melissa Tyke. Melissa Lesage, Melissa Tyke. Those they're just all very different physiques. It's like it's a fruit basket. They're all very apple and an orange and a banana and some grapes.
Let's jump into what's going on in 2022. First, we want to hear a little bit about you. Just JB and myself, we live in Europe, so we have our eyes on Colly Amandine for some time. Talk to us a little bit about Colly Amandine that you're now working with.
She's amazing. She's great. She operates with Swiss precision.
Good.
Yeah, she's really fun to work with. I really enjoy working with her, and I expect her to be a really breakout star in women's physique this year. She executes flawlessly. She's very motivated, and there's certain competitors that I call technicians, and I call them technicians because they're always doing everything perfect. Like, they make sure that everything's right. Diet, cardio, their posing, presentation, they're already thinking about their tan and their suit way ahead of time. They're on the ball with everything 100%, and that definitely describes Kali. Yeah, I'm excited. This is her first year competing in women's physique. She did figure last year. She did figure last year, and then she had a great off season. On her own. I didn't work with her in the off season, but she gained a lot of muscle, and she really belongs in women's physique. A lot of people say that she belongs in women's bodybuilding, going by her pics, but she's not big enough for women's bodybuilding, at least not yet. Her physique is a bit deceiving. She's 5'4", and she's only about 145 pounds.
Yeah.
How much?
140, like 65 kilos.
Yeah, that's not much.
Yeah, 65 kilos at 5'4" is not women's bodybuilding.
No.
But I mean, she looks amazing. I think she has the potential to be in. Over time, I think she can be in the first call out at the Olympia.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
She with the Hella Trevino, she also had that professionalism, or?
Oh, Hella, yeah, exactly. Hella is just, yeah, excellent.
Because of the way you say.
Also, communication is perfect. Some people, they disappear and they fall off and they don't update, when they're supposed to or whatever. Poor communication, and that obviously doesn't manifest in a winning physique usually.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then we have talked us, because JB, we should have had more time because we had, but talk to us quick about Missy Truscott. You took her also this year, correct?
Yeah, Missy's another one that's just pure technician. She nails everything beautifully. We did Boston this year. She won Boston. She really wanted, a comeback win. She won that convincingly, and now we're just taking the rest of the year off to grow and improve, and probably it's not 100% set in stone, but we're probably doing the Olympia this year.
Cool.
Talk to us about Rachel Daniels, who disappeared for a whole year. She came back at the St. Louis Pro and talk to us about the improvements for that show since the 2020 Olympia appearance.
Yeah, Rachel's another technician. Just flawless execution in everything. Rachel, when we started in 2020, and she really had a very rapid ascent to the top. We did a national show, we did a qualifier. We did Tampa, Tampa, the NPC show, and she won that. And then she did Junior USA's shortly after. She won her class in the overall at Junior USA's. And then the next week was New York Pro. She went and did New York Pro. She won that with straight ones. And then she went to the Olympia that year. So that was 4 shows in a very short time period. And because that was the COVID year, the Olympia was in December. It's in December again this year, but I think it'll be back to earlier next year. But anyways, she had a very long season in 2020, and then in 2021, it was just too much. Her body needed a break. So I said, hey, we're taking the rest of the year off. You just need to chill out, use the time to grow and improve mentally, physically, everything. Just sit this year out, and we'll come back in 2022, which we just did.
Is that a tough thing to say to a girl who was she made such an impact, and to take a whole year off? Is that hard?
Oh yeah, definitely hard. Yeah. I mean, she actually started prep in the beginning of 2021, but it was too difficult, and her body was not responding how it should. And I kept on saying, I really think we should take the time off. And then finally, she said, okay, let's do it. So we just used the rest of the year to grow and improve. But yeah, I mean, anybody at the top level, to get to that top level, you have a very type A personality. You're very driven, and you've got the blinders on. you know, all you can think about is the next show. But sometimes you have to, I mean, if you really want to be a good champion and be around for a while, sometimes you have to take that, you know, you have to take one step back to make two steps forward. And sometimes that means taking a year off. Patricia Jocelyn, last year, she won the Chicago Pro last year, and she had taken the previous year off. She's one that likes to compete every other year, every second year. So she has that gap year, and I think that does wonders for people. I think a lot of people could benefit from doing that. A lot of people don't do that. They think that they need to compete every year to stay relevant and, you know, stay in front of the judges or whatever. But I think that they do themselves a disservice. Not always. I mean, sometimes it makes sense to do that, but sometimes it's best to take the year off to grow and improve, and not have the blinders on all the time.
Yeah.
Have the blinders on, but have them focused on the following year.
Yeah.
JB, we forgot to even talk. Mona Porsaye, don't you prep her as well?
Yeah, Mona, she's doing great. She just updated me today. She's
how is she looking?
She's huge. She's huge.
Oh, that's what you. She made tremendous improvements in insane improvements in 2021.
Yeah.
What will we see from Mona this year? Do you predict?
Well, she's right now. Her full focus is on the Rising Phoenix.
Yeah.
So she's not doing anything before Rising Phoenix. She's not qualified because she got fourth. She got fourth at the Olympia. But she's putting all her eggs in that basket, doing Rising Phoenix. But she's Mona's another one, pure technician, nails everything flawlessly. Obviously, a beautiful poser. And she's really, you know, we're still in off season now. We're, 27, 26 weeks out of Rising Phoenix. But she's added a lot of size, and that's really all that she needs to take it to the next level. She's, her conditioning, she was the hardest person on the women's bodybuilding Olympia stage last year. No one was harder than her.
I know.
Her conditioning was flawless at the Olympia. She was the hardest, but she's, her height, she's a little bit shorter than the other gals. So she's needs to fill out the frame some more, but she's definitely done that this offseason. She's added a lot of size. She just updated me this morning. She looks great, and we're just full focus on the Rising Phoenix.
JB, we're a little bit sad because we should have longer time. We didn't. Yep. I hope we can get you back for a longer conversation because there's so much to talk about, Shelby.
Let's do later this year. Maybe after the show.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah. And one last thing before we go. If there's any talent out there, are you still available for coaching, or are you fully booked, or how's your...
Yeah, people can reach out to me. Just send me a message on Instagram or email, whatever,
That's good.
Let's hope for an awesome 2022. It started well for you, but we are excited to get this season ready, aren't we, Shelby?
Yeah, I'm stoked. It started off great, and it's gonna that momentum will continue.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.